Alicia, 1115 4th Street Northeast.
Anna Schmidt, Director of Court Southeast,
Thank you, Rochester School Board, for giving us the opportunity to share our voices this evening. My name is Melanie, and I'm a teacher for Rochester Public Schools.
My name is Anna, and I'm also a teacher for RPS.
We want to begin by saying that we recognize that our voices are two of the mostly white voices in this district that take up the most space, and that there are more voices that deserve to be heard and lifted up that come from our Black, those of color, Latinx, LGBTQIA+, First Nation, and Asian communities. We wanted to acknowledge this before beginning. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional ancestral stolen territory of the Dakota on which we are organizing today. We recognize the Native communities in our region today and extend our deepest gratitude to those that have stewarded this land and offer our respect to their elders past, present, and future. I would like to begin by saying, as a parent and educator in the Rochester Public School District, I feel honored and proud of the work this district is doing to prioritize equity and inclusion. There still is a lot of work to be done, but I know our district has been showing through action they are dedicated to the work. As an educator, I'm continually supported to teach the truth in my classroom through various resources. I do not teach critical race theory. I do, however, teach my students to think critically and welcome conversations around race, racism, and the impacts of systematic racism. We learn from multiple perspectives. I say we because I'm continually learning and unlearning from the lies I have learned as a child. And most importantly, our classroom is built on relationship building through respect, love, and valuing each other as humans. That means learning about and valuing each other's identities and cultures. As a parent who has a child in the district, I want my child to graduate from high school with a strong understanding of the historical events as they truly happened, as I did not. Our children play an important role in determining our future. In order to drive the change our nation so desperately needs, they need to have a strong educational foundation based on understanding the role that institutionalized racism plays in everyday interactions. I want my child to be able to recognize their privilege so they can challenge the systems that uphold racism and inequities. But most importantly, I want not only my child, but all children in our district to know the value of their voices and use them for the greater good. I am proud to be part of Rochester Public School District when I see the voices of our future being uplifted, heard, and supported.
I would like to begin by saying that while change within the district is happening slowly, we do recognize that change is happening. This past year, more than ever, we felt empowered to teach real history and have deep conversations centered around privilege, diversity, equity, and tolerance in our classrooms. It is our belief that it is our duty to lead these conversations and teach these lessons so that our students grow up with an abundance of empathy for all, including those who are different from themselves, and a passion for leading change anytime there is a situation that calls for it. I've noticed lately that there seems to be fear surrounding the teaching of our nation's true history, and to that I say, avoiding the truth does not change the truth. Our country's land was stolen from the multitude of indigenous communities living here, whether we acknowledge it or not. Our nation was quite literally built by millions of enslaved humans, whether we acknowledge it or not. And I benefit from both of those things still today, whether I choose to acknowledge it or not. With that being said, I will always acknowledge it, but acknowledgement isn't enough. We must also act. I can't change the past, but I will work my hardest to encourage my students, leaders of our future, to continue demanding an equitable society where everyone is valued and respected. I thank RPS for the shift in curriculum that invites these conversations and the focus on building specific equity goals. Every little bit helps us chip away at the systemic racism that is embedded into our public school system. And I appreciate knowing that our school district is committed to continuing this work. I'd also like to encourage you to take our district a little deeper. We, the employees, are ready to drive change. We're ready to hold our colleagues who may not be as ready accountable. We're here to stand in solidarity with our diverse families who deserve to attend schools in a safe environment and see themselves reflected in the faces around them. And we're here with the responsibility that being an educator brings to uphold these values. In closing, we'd like to say that it is our unequivocal belief that Black lives matter, that the individuality of members of the LGBTQIA community should be celebrated, that Indigenous peoples should be recognized and valued, that Latinx voices should be uplifted, that our Asian families should be heard, and we'd like to thank Rochester Public Schools for taking us.